wash up on the beach, and as kids we used to throw them at each other. I used to throw them at my brother. He beat me out of that. Yeah. It looks like a pile of snot on the beach when it rolls in. They're really simple creatures actually. There's no brain, there's no nervous system or anything like that. They're just sort of floating around, and occasionally they're able to sting something and eat it. Yeah, there's some pretty big snappers down here.
Yeah.
They don't get much. This is like when you see the bigger one down at the bottom. Some of the bigger ones are down the bottom.
Yeah, I see the
That's about as big as they get. About 20.
Now we saw that in Australia.
No,
There's a school.
Anywhere up to about 20 pounds is max size for these guys. Paul might argue with that because he catches the biggest fish I've ever seen.
What those little things look like big mushrooms down there?
The big mushrooms? Those, sorry, are they long and thin or?
They're white.
Oh, the yellow?
Yeah.
Those are the hard corals, guys. I'll get to that. They, if you look carefully at some of them, they have a pattern on them. You see that pattern looks almost like a brain? So that one's the brain coral. It's called the brain coral. Yeah, everything's pretty simply named. The thing that has, it looks purple and a fan-like, that's the purple sea fan. Yeah. Very simple. Yeah, those round balls are the hard corals. That's the brain coral. It's named about the yellowy orange.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's something attached. Okay, if something's attached, that's probably what we call sea squirts. You guys know those tunicates? They're real simple creatures. They just sort of sit there and pass water through them, and they filter out whatever's in it. It's funny actually. No one's ever mentioned this before. They're kind of hard to spot. One thing you might mention on the bottom, you might notice are these black, they look like slugs on the bottom. Has anyone seen that yet? Yeah, they look, most people think they're shark turds, but they're actually, they're called sea cucumbers. You guys know that? Yeah, they're kind of like the ocean version of earthworms. They just go around and take in the sand and clean it, and they move at about 6 inches a day. So we'll come back tomorrow and see them in the same place roughly. And if you see nearby them, you might see a few little squiggly, curly things of sand, and that's just kind of their droppings that they leave behind. And yeah, they're really old. They've been around since the time of the dinosaurs, and they're found in every ocean. There's not much that eat them, and they've just been really successful. So you'll find them everywhere. Now, one thing you're not going to notice tonight, guys, you're probably expecting to see some of the parrotfish. These are the brightly colored guys. You seen this before? Yeah, well, they're not just called parrotfish because they're bright colors. They have a fused beak. And what they use that for is scraping algae off the reef. They're herbivores. And they just go along and take algae off the reef. Now, they're actually day creatures. They're diurnal. They don't come out at night. And at nighttime, they're sleeping. If we look carefully, you might see them sort of hanging under a ledge. What they do is they secrete this mucus and they make a cocoon around them, and that cocoon shields their smell from any sharks or predators that might come by and try and sniff them out. And it also means that if something does try and grab a hold of them in their mouth, they're really slippery, so they have time to wake up and shoot off. But if you ever see a fish asleep, it's kind of cool. You can get really close to them, but their eyes are open, so they it's kind of weird.
Do any sharks come by?
I've never seen a shark here, guys, but this is a great spot. As you see, there's so many fish here. So they've been known to swim by here. But Bermuda doesn't have it doesn't have many inshore reef sharks. Most of our sharks are offshore, like the big tiger sharks, the makos. Usually that doesn't. Here, guys, it's a nice nursery ground for smaller guys too. It's a little bit more protected from like the storms and things. Yeah, so these parrotfish can make up to a ton of sand a year, guys. Yeah, so when you were at the beach earlier today, burying each other in the sand, and throwing snowballs at night, some of the sandballs at each other, yeah, that's parrotfish poop. There's definitely a structure there. You see the flat deck. And we're coming over it right now. See some of the metal. You can see some rust and stuff. see these things that, like I was telling you about the cattails. Those are the sea rods. That's the soft.